The MMA India Show.
Praveen Abbas from the MMA India Show, and we are joined with Steven Ricciardi, who is covering UFC 223 for us. Hey, Steven, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you. Good morning.
Morning. So now Steven is covering UFC 223 with us, and he was also present at Barclays Center in Brooklyn when Conor McGregor entered the building with all his friends and left as well in the car. So first things first, Steven, so you had a great media day yesterday. So when these guys entered, could you see them coming from far, or how was it? How you saw them entering? They entered through the main door, or where did they come from? Did you see, or?
Yeah, I could see them. When I was basically getting my tripod and camera and everything together, and I was sitting right by the mirrors in the Barclays Center. We were basically in the front promenade.
Yeah.
So we're right there by the train entrance. And you could see two SUVs pulled up on the side of the road and pulled over. And I looked because you really can't park there. So there shouldn't have been cars pulled over there. And all of a sudden, a whole bunch of guys get out of the cars and start sprinting, towards the front doors of the Barclays Center. So that's when, and then obviously all of a sudden I noticed it's Conor McGregor. And, for the most part, I'm a fan. So I just grabbed my phone, figuring I'm going to be able to get a picture or some video of Conor McGregor, not even realizing what he was up to and what his intentions were.
Yeah. So they parked their car outside. At that time, were you outside or were you inside?
Yeah, the car was parked right on the side of the road, right at the front. When you come to the Barclays Center, it's like a big V corner of the street, and he was parked on the left-hand side of the front entrance. So there were two SUVs. I don't know how many guys. I know Dana White said there were like 20 guys that came in.
Yeah.
I don't think there were 20, but there very easily could have been, 12 to 15 guys. I mean, there were a lot of people that came running in.
So now again, I remember when you sent me the initial footage, we initially thought, he was just entering, and you did say it seemed like he was looking for somebody. I mean, it was very clear.
Yeah, no, when he got to the door, Dana White had mentioned that somebody from the Mac Life had let him in. There really weren't many journalists still there at that time. There weren't many people there. They were kind of cleaning up. And more or less, he got in there and he looked like he was pissed off. He looked like he was there looking for somebody. And you just kind of knew from the tone of the week, he was looking for Khabib.
But I personally, I just thought he had come to attend UFC 223 and maybe he had a meeting or something. And you know how it is, just to avoid the media. So they were walking really fast. I don't think anybody could have really have imagined.
You know what? When he first walked in, I would have agreed with you.
Yeah.
But the way he walked in, with the tempo, the pace at which he was walking, and he kind of looked frantically like he was just trying to, because like I said, there really weren't many journalists there. Compared to the crowd that was originally there for Media Day, you're talking maybe 25% of the crowd was still there.
Yeah.
So there really weren't many people still there at that point.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was really worried about cameras or anything coming in. You know what I mean? It was all basically Barclays employees and maybe 20 people that were still there. They had a table set up where a bunch of people were writing articles. Obviously, they had deadlines that they had to hit.
Yeah.
And he literally walked right past the table. You can actually see it in my video. And everybody at the table kind of just turned their head like, it's Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
when I mean, initially, I think there were a couple of UFC employees as well. So when everybody went in, I remember this lady with a jacket and a backpack who was trying to stop people from entering into the lift as well.
Right.
So was that a UFC employee?
No, she was a Barclays security guard. She worked for the Barclays Center.
Oh, okay.
She was basically who, yeah. That's basically who was still there at that point. There was a lot of security from Barclays Center.
Okay, not the one who was in a dark jacket, not the African American lady, but there was a lady in with like a backpack and everything. She was a security guard as well.
If it's the right person, she may have been a journalist or she may have worked for UFC. I'm not sure. I would have to look at the video again to figure out who she is.
Okay, let me just play it right now. Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay, let me just play it and stop and try and show you who I'm talking about.
Okay.
There's this lady here, if you see. Okay, guys, we'll try and show it to you later. But if you see, there's this lady here. You see her here? The one with this back.
Just hold it up. Hold it up a little bit higher. There you go.
The lady who's here, who stops and then goes inside with them in the lift. Not these two. But let me just go back again. Now, this lady here, if you can see her with this jacket. And she's the one with the long hair. Can you see her? She's the one who goes inside with them in the lift as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure who she was.
But she wasn't she seems to be like a UFC employee who also was clueless. I think most of them were clueless that this was going to happen. And who was trying to stop other people from getting into the lift. You know, all of the people following with cameras. But she did go down with them then, and she can be seen in the other footage. All I'm trying to understand is she might have been a UFC employee who was taken by surprise, then decided to accompany Conor to whatever he was, trying to do. And all of a sudden, the shit hits the fan and you start throwing stuff around.
That is very possible. I can tell you this because this is also what I saw. When he came in, he went into the lift. The doors closed for the lift, and then the Barclays security got us away. As we're walking away, maybe 10 seconds later, the lift opens up, and they come sprinting out again. And at that point, I don't know exactly where they went, but they sprinted down the hallway, and I believe at that point they went downstairs. So the lift didn't actually take them downstairs, from what I understand. I know the doors opened, they came sprinting out again, and then, kept running. It was almost like a delay just to kind of get all the cameras off of them.
Ah, so they went into the lift, and the minute you guys had your cameras off, they came back out.
They came out like 10 or 15 seconds later, yeah.
And then
I don't know if it was by design or not, but that's what happened.
And then they went running out somewhere else.
Then they went running out else, and then obviously all the other cameras downstairs, you obviously know what he was doing and what came of that.
Yeah, everybody saw that. So it could very well be possible once they were in the lift. Yeah, like you're saying, I don't know if it didn't work or the UFC person tried to stop them or whatever. We have no idea, but we do know, of course, what happened because everybody's seen enough footage of Conor McGregor, throwing all that stuff and the other people as well. Now, of course, he has been, I don't know if I want to say arrested or placed under detention of what the fact actually is. Yeah.
What I saw on Twitter, and again, I'm getting this from, the MMA people, UFC journalists that I follow. What I saw on Twitter is that he was detained. He turned himself in. Ariel Helwani was actually outside the precinct.
Yeah, we all
didn't see him go in. So
yeah, we saw.
Supposedly, what happened is supposedly what happened is they had like a side entrance or a secret entrance, and that's how he made his way into the precinct. And I believe he's going to be in front of a judge this morning. Yeah. And there are 4 charges that I saw online this morning.
So basically, what I read is 7 a.m. So what time is it right now over there?
It's 7 a.m. I'm actually on my way back over for the weigh-ins right now.
Okay, and what time are the weigh-ins?
The weigh-ins start at 9 o'clock, so I got to take a bus and a train. I got to get back over there, so it's going to take a little while.
Okay, so basically, now this thing has colored all of UFC 223 now. Because it's going to be a very different UFC 223. Of course, there are 3 fights which are off the card now because of this incident which happened yesterday. Unfortunately, Michael Chiesa got hurt, Ray Borg, and Artem Lobov has been removed because of his, being involved in the incident as well. So from 13 fights, it's become 10 fights. And it has, of course, depending on what happens with Conor. So basically, is he going to be put in front of a judge to see whether he gets bail or not?
I'm going to assume that he's going to get, he's going to be put in front of a judge and they're just going to let him go on bail because, in the grand scheme of things, this isn't the kind of crime that, you're going to be, kept in over the weekend or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to be, put through booking and let go, I would assume, today. But Dana White also did say that he is not allowed on the premises. He's not allowed at the weigh-ins today. He's not allowed at the ceremonial weigh-ins. The press conference later on tonight, there's actually 2 press conferences later tonight, and then he's not allowed at 223.
So basically nowhere.
Yeah, he's not allowed anything to do with UFC right now.
UFC right now. Okay, because, we saw Dana White's live interview yesterday as well. He didn't seem very happy.
Right.
But, now, of course, trying to understand, of course, how the American judicial system works, because it works much faster over there. He may not be allowed. Will he be allowed, do you think, to leave the country? Let's say he gets bail tomorrow. But would there be a condition of him not leaving the country until these charges are seen through? Because it could very well happen once they allow him to go. He gets back on the plane and leaves for Ireland. He says, listen, screw you. You want me to fight? Come fight in Europe or anywhere else but America. I'm not coming back.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's probably how it's going to play out. Although, I don't think there's going to be a reason why he's not going to be able to leave. I don't think the charges, as serious as what happened was, it's not the kind of thing that the charges are going to be that serious that he's going to have to stay in the country. Okay. I don't think so. Again, no. I've never had to deal with the law, so I'm lucky in that respect.
Oh, okay.
But I would assume that that's the way it's going to work. But if I were him, other than Las Vegas, he has no reason to come back. Yeah. One of the things that Habib did say is that he wants to fight in November at Madison Square Garden. They've been doing a November card at Madison Square Garden in New York City. And, everyone assumes that if Habib wins tonight, it'll probably be Conor McGregor. But now that may be an issue based on what just happened. The other person that Habib has mentioned has been GSP. So it's either been Conor McGregor or GSP, hopefully for that November card, which would be great, right in my backyard again.
Now, you have said that, you've never dealt with the American judicial system before, but just an idea of how quickly do you think this can be resolved, because the cases start over there, he's charged, let's say a trial begins, let's say he pleads guilty or something, then there is no trial. He serves some community service maybe, but of course all the other cases which start, the civil action suits, they would keep happening on the side. Because like you mentioned, I think, nobody has pressed charges as such. This is the city taking action.
This is the city taking action as far as I know. But again, what you just said is 100% correct. I'm very sure that the UFC is going to file some kind of a lawsuit against them because now they have 3 less fights on this card. I'm sure, as far as I know, tickets were basically sold out. But, pay-per-view, buys, if it hurts the pay-per-view, this may even help the pay-per-view, knowing how things work. I don't know. But obviously there's going to be some damages. I mean, all 6 of those fighters that are no longer fighting just lost their fight money, their show money. So in that case, all those guys, I would assume, are going to press some kind of a civil lawsuit against Conor. Yeah. Because he's responsible for them not fighting.
And also, like you just mentioned, the UFC could press as a civil suit, they've lost money, blah, 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 all of that. Now, that actually means that they have leverage over Conor McGregor. And I remember reading this or hearing this somewhere, I forgot from where, that they have leverage over Conor McGregor, which they didn't have up till now. Up till now, he's been like, I'm the guy who runs the show and blah, blah, blah. I think that may change very soon because there is the threat of a very, very big civil suit that they can pursue against him now.
Agreed. I agree 100%. And, in addition to that, it's the leverage that they need. Dana White said the other day at the press conference, which was on Wednesday, that Conor will be fighting in 2018. So literally a day after he made that statement at the press conference, this happened. So again, I know that the reason that they haven't had Conor fight, he offered to step in a few weeks ago. And again, he offered to step in this weekend. But the reason he's not fighting is about the money. So maybe this will help alleviate some of those issues with the money.
Yeah. So, but yeah, of course, that did that did of course happen before this incident, and things have changed. So yeah, I think there's going to be an easier path of getting Conor McGregor to fight again, depending on how this case plays out and the civil suits. And the fact is that Conor McGregor has lost a lot of it's kind of a dual thing where he's lost a lot of fans, but people still want to see him fight and they would probably want to see Conor McGregor Khabib fight because of the acrimony that took place yesterday night.
Absolutely. And again, when Conor McGregor fights at this point, it's a big money fight. You know what I mean? He's basically proven to everybody that the rankings don't mean anything, the belts don't mean anything. He marches to his own drum at this point. And, a fight with Khabib, if Khabib is able to win his title, the guy's going to be 26-0. Khabib is talking about legacy. I think that's what Conor's fighting for now. He's fighting for legacy, and I think that he wants to fight with Khabib. I mean, he's motivated more now than ever to get his hands on this guy. So over the next few months, if the UFC and Conor want to continue their business relationship, which again, the UFC may walk away from them altogether, you never know. But if they don't, I would assume that Khabib and Conor are going to be fighting very soon.
Yeah. Now, coming back to the media day yesterday, of course, you were waiting for some time to speak to Khabib, and we were almost there, but I think, were they regulating who speaks to him, or how was that going? Because just as we were getting our turn, he had to leave.
Yeah, basically what was going on is there was somebody interviewing him from Russia, and it was in Russian.
Yeah, I saw.
That guy.
Yeah.
That guy was. The funny thing about it is when Khabib first came out, that guy started the interview and basically interviewed him the entire time. So when I eventually got over there, maybe a half an hour later, I was sitting there maybe 15 minutes. I was able to get a good spot because everybody else moved away because this guy just kept going with his interview. So they all gave up. And everybody, the American journalists, all were lined up on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Khabib's manager, Ali, was kind of directing the crowd at that point and kind of trying to get the Russian guy to finish his line of questioning and move on because nobody else had a chance to interview him.
Yeah.
And everything, again, was in Russian, so you couldn't even get answers.
Now,
it was tough. And then the guy Ali is actually the guy in the one video. He had, like, the blue sweater on.
Yeah.
He was the guy in the video that was on the bus that kind of almost tried to get out of the bus, kick the door in.
Yeah.
So that was the guy that was kind of, right in front of Khabib the whole time, determining who was going to speak to him.
Yeah. Now, one thing I don't understand is why did the Russian journal have to come to America and speak to him for like 45 minutes? Why couldn't he speak to him while they were still in Russia together?
That's again, I don't speak Russian, but that's a question for somebody else to ask and find out. But and that guy he has a Khabib like kind of self denim jacket that was made by an artist or something like that. He wore it to the weigh-ins on Wednesday. He wore it again. It was going around. A lot of people were taking pictures. It was going around on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Really nice jacket, but he was the one who was interviewing him.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it for today. We all know about the fights now, and the whole topic of discussion, of course, has been Conor's behavior yesterday and his friends and how it's affected UFC 223, which is unfortunate because it's taken the focus kind of off of the fights rather than, and onto him and his behavior rather than on the fights itself, especially since you have such an amazing card. You've got, of course, you've got Khabib Holloway, you've got Joanna and Rose, you had Michael Chiesa, Anthony Pettis, Ray Borg, Moreno, Calvin Qatar. I mean, you've got so many people, Carolina, Feliz. It's a really stacked card, and it's very unfortunate that the whole focus has kind of shifted onto what is going to happen to Conor now.
Yeah, and you know what? That's why Conor is the biggest draw in the UFC, and that's why he has all the cards. So, again, at this point, I think the storyline going into today, and again, we'll be tweeting out the live feed of the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
But a lot of these fighters were caught at Barclays Center for a few hours waiting because Conor kind of had them, in a cage downstairs. And then when he left, they still had to wait there for all the police report and everything else. So I don't know how much this affected their weight cuts. We could see fighters missing weight today because, that was prime weight cut time. They had to get some extra cardio in and, whatever else they needed to do to make sure they hit this weight cut.
Yeah. So
Habib actually said when one of the American journalists said yesterday, how's your weight cut going? He said, I'm going to be the first one there at 9 o'clock. Yeah. So we'll see if he's still the first one there at 9 o'clock, who else is there, and how the weight cuts go. But weight could be an issue also because of what happened yesterday.
Yeah, well, just to let everybody know, we are going to bring you the weigh-ins live as well on YouTube, on our YouTube handle, MMA India, and the ceremonial weigh-ins as well, so the actual weigh-ins will happen in about a couple of hours, right?
The actual weigh-ins will happen in 2 hours, yes. I'm just about to get on a bus in a few minutes.
Yeah, and the ceremonial weigh-ins will happen much later in the night, India time, and we'll still bring them to you live on our YouTube channel and be sharing them out. So, a lot of, I don't want to call it excitement. It's unfortunate what happened. I don't think it should ever happen, these kinds of incidents. They have put a big spotlight on UFC 223, especially on the main fight and on the weight cuts as well. Like Steven very rightly put it, let's see how it affects the fighters' weight cuts, because it was a very important day. It was just the last day, when they're making weight and they're, all in that weight cutting mode. So let's see how it affects them. And let's see how this whole Conor McGregor incident plays out. We'll keep bringing you updates, news, articles, and a lot of live feed on our YouTube. So subscribe and follow us and keep commenting and sending us your questions. Thank you so much, Steven, for covering.
No problem.
Yeah, for covering UFC.
Good to talk to you. We'll talk again.
Great. Take care. Have fun. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.